Goeiemiddag allemaal. It's a voorreg om hier te wees. And now I'm going to English. So I am one of the people that started real food movement in Johannesburg. I started in 2013 after a pretty long illness, and I converted to a real food diet, and it was one of the biggest part that got me on the right track back to my health. And so the question was, it wasn't easy to source clean food in Johannesburg. You tried in those days, even at Woolies, they had stuff called farming for the future, but my body used to react. How? I used to get rash, I used to get diarrhea, and then sometimes hectic constipation. I had eczema around my eyes. I had my cholesterol was 14, and the doctor got a fright. He wanted to take me to ICU. It's supposed to be under 5. So blood pressure up, but the biggest problem I had was my cognitive, my brain started slowing down, and I got blurry vision. I was forgetful. I would phone the same person twice in the day and tell them the same thing, and this was gradually going down. And I wasn't eating lekker. I was doing pie, peppermint crisp, and a Pepsi. That was me. And then in the evenings, burgers and tequilas. That was my diet, and it killed me slowly. So the challenge was, where do you buy clean food? And there wasn't a place. So I thought that if I started a little shop in a garage and I went to hunt for these clean farmers and put the food there, I would run a box scheme. And we used to then deliver out of the garage. It was a 2-car garage. We received there, we packed it, out it went. And then 2 years later, we moved to a small shop, probably as big as this tent, big as this tent. And we did that for 2 years, all the time trying to find a supply chain of farmers that really understood what clean real food was. And after that, it got a bit blurry because we then moved to a shop. We took a big plunge, 11 times bigger, 1,000 square meter store. I mean, that's just like a medium-sized Woolies. And half of it is supermarket, the other half is a restaurant. The restaurant buys only from the farmers that we collect food from. And I did another crazy thing. I opened another store a year later, and that was in Kyalami, and same size. So I'm telling you this because in 2013, we're talking about 9 years, the demand is massive. From having 6 customers a week, we're now sitting with we serve about 60,000 customers a month. That's a lot of feet. Some of them are the same feet. They come 3 times, but we still count them as a purchase. And yeah, it's been a tough road. Lots of complications. I've often wished I was back in corporate, or I could farm, because farmers always look healthy. So I thought maybe farming would be good, but I realized that my calling is retail. And so who's my market? In the very beginning, my market was sick people who had cancer, people who had diabetes, people who had chronic sicknesses, poor immunity, and had a stent or a mild stroke. And then slowly it moved to moms who wanted to get their kids okay. And I realized something. I was onto something when the Autistic Association in Johannesburg started buying up all my grass-fed beef. And I went to them and I asked them, what's going on? Where are you taking this beef? And they were saying, by giving it to the kids are better the next day. Their behavior is so much calmer and not as erratic. And then I thought, yes, this is amazing. This is something that we need to look deeper in. My view is that big foods, God bless them, are killing us. What do they want? They want the most money for the cheapest cost, and the way they get the cost down is by preserving food or factory farming food, and you have to go against God's principles to do that. You're not supposed to do that to food, because your body, our bodies, need to feed ourselves. And if we're feeding ourselves with the same pesticides and toxins and colorants, you know, we're not, number one, following God's plan, and nor are we helping ourselves in any way. You need to eat and feel good after you eat. You need to find out which is the right type of eating lifestyle that you should be on. And if what you eat isn't making you alert, alive, and enthusiastic, you know, then you must change your diet, and you must learn what to eliminate, and you must learn what to add to your diet. And yeah, it must be working. I'm a humble greengrocer. I'm not a medical person, but what I do is I share the stories and the testimonials of my customers. So if a Okie comes in with bad gout, this happened last week, and he was hobbling in and he tried everything, and he said, you know, when I take those pills I don't feel lekker. So I said, look, I've got cherry juice, concentrated pure cherry juice. Gave it to him. I said, look, it's a little bit expensive, but take it. He phoned me back a week later. He said, I'm playing tennis again. And I said, yes, that's amazing. And only because I had learned. So food can do a lot of things to your body. It can either make you perform or make you go slack. Why is Joburg a good market? Because the people are sick there. Why are they sick? They got potholes, they got problems, they got no money, they got big houses that they have to got big bonds. They have jobs where they have to work 18 hours a day, and so it wears down on you. And if you're buying from the vending machine at lunchtime just to stop the shakes, you know, you're racing towards a diabetic situation, and you're fueling yourself with food for an hour. Whereas real food, clean food, will feed you for a day. I eat once a day. That's it. And it's not even a big meal. My body loves that. I don't eat breakfast. I don't eat lunch. And I just drink water. It works for me. It doesn't work for other people. But I can pick up more weights at the gym now. Doesn't look like it, but than I could at varsity. I'm a better squash player now than I was when I was a lightie. I'm 59, and yeah, it's worked for me. My challenge was, how do I find, you know, how do you make this accessible to people, and how do I find a supply chain that can support our growth, and people don't go back. The beauty of it is that when you've tasted real food, thank God it really does taste better. Not because I say so, it's because my customers say so. When you have one of Donnie Slobbert's chickens, you find it very difficult to buy another chicken. It just doesn't taste the same. How do I know that? We have some French school in Bryanston, and lots of expats, and they came up to me once, and the lady took the full trolley of chickens. And I said, you know, where are you going? What's going on here? She says, no, the French, they like this. Apparently the word for real chicken in France is poulet. And they said, this is poulet, this is poulet. And I said, yes, I know this is poulet, this is chicken, all of this. They said, no, you don't understand. Other chicken is something else. That's not chicken. This is chicken. And since then, word spreads. People feel good after eating it, tastes lekker. Costs less than Woolies. It's a deal. It's a bargain. It's just now ramping this up, getting more retail space, and trying to grow the market. But I can tell you something for free today. The market's massive. It's just, how do you get to service it? It's not easy as a farmer. It's flipping difficult as a retailer to keep your shelves full. But the market is massive. I've only touched the market slightly. Any questions, guys? I am talking tomorrow, but I thought I'd tell you a short story, because some of you aren't going to be here tomorrow. Yes.
How big is the market for organ meat?
Wow, great question. I cannot keep up with hunnerpote. Is that the word? You call them runners, eh? Runaways. I cannot keep up with runaways. I know that's not an organ, but I'm getting to the organs. Who's buying them? The Santon mommies. Santon mommies have learned that you get gelatine. It's great for Botox, guys. Plus, it's good for your gut. And you just feel amazing if you take these chickens and you just chop them a little bit, and then you make a chicken soup, and then you make a batch, and then you freeze them and put them in the freezer. People are drinking bone broth. It's massive sales, massive. I have grass-fed beef hearts and livers, and I also can't keep up. The business is grown on education. If you don't know, you don't know. But once you know, you can do something about it. So we spend a fortune of our marketing budget to try and tell people that the organ meat is where the nutrients are. The hunters ate the organ meat when they went hunting. And they brought back the rump and the sirloin. They can have it. The ladies and the kids can have it. They had the hunter's pot. And because it made them feel amazing. So there's a massive movement to organ meat. What's also nice about chicken livers, and we always use Woolies as a benchmark, and I do these courses, and I have a plate of Woolies food, and then I have a whole lot of our food, and I get the people to feel the chicken livers that you pay out your nose, and they're rough and they're dull. They haven't got like a color. There's like a graininess to them. You go across here and you let them feel it. It's bright red. It's like jelly almost. It's so different. And the taste is amazing. So, and it's half price of Woolies. So, in order to grow the business, we've had to have the restaurant, because once you have chicken livers in our store, you will come back. You will go to another restaurant and you will ask, do I have a fancy chef in my kitchen? No. I don't like chefs. Sorry, Stephen. They a lot of hard work emotionally. So we just have a normal person that started as a waiter and wanted to work in the kitchen. So, you know, we're doing a couple of things. We're trying to create jobs. We're trying to make our future generation better. And we're also trying to keep the Joburgers alive. Any other questions?
Where's the steak?
Where is the steak? Well, we only do C grades. I'll tell you a little bit about steak.
No, they're cooking it.
They are braaiing. They do braai. We haven't got that bad in the city. So yeah, we go through a lot of steak. Not many people sell tomahawks. Tomahawks sell pretty good. We're also getting people to learn to eat at home and cook at home. There are people in the city that don't cook. They don't know how to cook. They get the maid to write a shopping list. And how do I know? Because they can't read their own shopping list. So yeah, they're busy. They don't have time. So, you know, people need real food, but they can't get it conveniently. And that's what we're trying to do, is to get retailers to understand that real food is not just a marketing slogan. Yeah. So we have. Well, firstly, let me talk about salt. We won't use the normal irradiated salt. We only use Oryx salt, which is from the Kalahari. You have to use salt. That's all you must put on beef. So salt is actually brilliant. What we also tell customers is that when you drink a glass of water, you must just put a little grind of salt in it and drink it. Your body then recognizes it as an electrolyte and absorbs it. And so you'll go to the toilet half the amount of time that you normally would, especially when you get to my age. I do it now, and there's nothing wrong with salt. And we have people who make us sauces and marinades and whatever. But we'll with the clean stuff in, as clean as you can get. Obviously, I can't make food 100% clean, but as pure as possible is the motto. But we're also trying to teach people that spices and marinades were designed by the Karen brothers because the meat tastes cuck, so they had to put spice on. When you have grass-fed beef, you just put salt. That's it. Yeah, that's one reason. But we also like the marbling, and we do like the taste and the fat. So if you braai a C-grade felt-reared animal, you'll on a moderate heat of a braai, you'll create a lot of flames. If you take a grade and you do the same cut, you're not going to get the amount of flames. You'll get a lot of steam, and you wonder why it's so juicy, where's the water going? But this is rocket fuel. So we ban margarine, we ban vegetable oil, we make people eat tallow, which is beef fat. Yeah. Our chips are fried in beef tallow. We even make people wash with tallow soap, and they love it because it foams lacquer and it lasts lacquer, lasts a long time. So there's a lot of value added products that go along with it. So it's a movement, it's a way of life, and it's only going to grow through education and finding farmers that get it and click and want to do it correctly. And then my job is to market the hell out of it, but not by greenwashing, by telling the truth and telling the story. That's what people want. They're not worried about organic certifications and free range. They just want to know who's the farmer, where was it grown, and can I trust this farmer? And if I pick up the phone to the farmer, will he pick up the call? Because in Woolies and Checkers, you don't know. You'll never know. You can ask everybody. Phone the helpline. Do it tomorrow. Phone the Checkers or the Woolies helpline. Ask them where the beef comes from. Ask them where the chicken comes from. They have no idea because mass produced. So that connection with the land, the customer to the land and to your product is key. It's a very superior product, guys. You have to know that. Anything else? We battle the shelf life of lamb's a tricky one for us. We do both. The city people aren't crazier about mutton because they've probably never been in a rural area. So it's a challenge, but we've got to find a way. One of the things, and it's a real simple thing to teach someone in the city, what's the best preservative in the world? Anyone know?
Salt.
No. Freezing it. All we have to do is freeze our food at source. Ideally, you lock in all the nutrients and you send it to the supermarket, and I now have to teach people that frozen's actually better than fresh. It really is, because you can't do all this work and then it ends up going to waste. There's too much food that's thrown away. So that's something that we're passionate about, teaching people that. So I can't keep up with pasture-reared eggs and raw milk. I don't know. I don't talk about raw milk because apparently it's illegal to sell. So I never advertise it. But people learn. It's the most amazing product in the world. I don't know why people pasteurize milk. And at least our pasteurized milk's got that much cream on it. If you buy supermarket milk, you're getting white water, guys. I think it's a rip-off because it's so damn expensive. You know, the Celtic salts, we're selling 350 Rand a bag because we buy it at that price. But it's crazy to spend that on salt when you've got the Kalahari salt next door. They say it's got more potassium and it's got more magnesium, but all I say is just have a bit more auric salt and then you're fine. There must be something in it. But I think to eat salt that came from the top of the globe doesn't make sense to me. I don't think you're getting value for money. And that's what happens. There's trends that come and go. But real food is not a trend. It's stuck. It's stuck. And what's nice about real food is what our May Opa only ate real food. Not long ago, eh? Call it 40 years ago. And so people over 50, when they eat and drink at our restaurant, they get the feeling of nostalgia. And a lot of people in the city hate it in the city, but it's the only place you can get a job. at the right kind of mullah, so it attracts you. And they drive all the way home to their farms or rural areas just to go and have food from the mother, because their mother cooks amazing. But that's because she grows everything and she buys things from the farm. And so if you can get a taste of that in the city, that's where the market is. The black market loves real food. They're much further ahead than the Mlungus. The Mlungus are still on peppermint crisps and that kind of diet. You know, they don't get it. And Oros will kill you. Eh? Just go read the ingredients on Oros. And we give it to our kids. Lacquer in a bottle. Causes asthma. I sell other weird stuff. Donkey milk. Donkey milk is a great alternative for mothers who can't feed. It's the closest to human. It's got a kick. And it helps with asthma. So the world we haven't explored yet, and Stephen and myself, we've spoken about this before, is the whole world of fungi, fungus, mushrooms, and the healing properties of so much that's in nature. And that for me is the next frontier. You know, can lion's mane really cure depression rather than taking those other tablets? There is a mystery around food, and there is a healing potion out there. We just got to find out which one's good for you and which one does what, and not to eat the one that kills you. Anything else? Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, growing all the time. Millet, sorghum, beans, lentils. You know, that are not from China. They're from South Africa. They're from Africa. So the indigenous food is massive. The whole movement is massive. There are restaurants that are specializing in that. And
Do you have enough supply of that?
no, I don't have enough supply of anything really, because you know, the idea is to get funding so that we can grow. You guys get funding somehow so that you can grow, and then we can put up stores in places where we think there is the greatest demand. But I do run online, and there's people who they pay 200 Rand for a delivery fee because they live in Benoni, and they buy 3 bone broths. It's crazy. Eggs, they'll buy from far. I mean, that's how serious people are. Yes, sir. Awesome discussions, awesome to hear. I'm stealing all your time. But we can't, because there's a rotation system that's happening. What I wanted to tell you, and I bet you when you were talking, sir, everyone said, yeah, but how are we going to make a profit? Am I right? Who thought that? You're all lying. You did. How do you make it workable? And this is where the farmer and the retailer, we have to be like this. Really. I need to pay you faster. I need to come and see you. I need to make sure you're okay. You're not eating Runaways every night. You know, the whole chain's got to work. Your farm workers must be looked after. If you don't look after them, do you think they're going to look after your fields? Not a chance. Do you think they're going to look after the animals? Of course they're not, and that's important. So there's a whole lot of things. It's ethical, conscious capitalism. It's a whole thing that we're going back to, and independence overseas. Like us, are growing. People are moving away from the big foods because you can vote with your feet. They've almost put Kellogg's, if you watch the social media, on their knees because they've insisted. Why do you put 4 dyes in my Fruit Loops for my child when in Europe you don't? You know, that's like what. So another question is, what else are they putting in my food that I don't know? So guys, it's the people who mess up fast food, I mean real food, and this whole movement. I hope no one's an accountant, but it's an accountants. They stuff everything up because they got shareholders, 8 women, that sit around the table and say, how do you get more value? How do we drop our cost of production? How do we preserve our food long to make some oak on the JSE rich? Come on, guys. That is the devil's work. Eh? Yes. So you know, that's got to be turned around. And I'm not joking. In 2013, I've actually got this poster in my stores where it says we're creating an alternative food supply devoid of toxins, chemicals, and pesticides. And that's pretty much sums up what we do. Okay, let's go look at the hens.